You're watching 48 Fastcast.
Thank you for joining us on this Friday. It's a very busy news day, and we start with breaking news. A manhunt is underway right now for the suspect accused of killing a 19-year-old Alabama A&M student in Huntsville earlier this week. WAFF 48's Callie Neese is live from where that manhunt started. This is by the Chevron gas station on Jordan and Shields Road. Callie, you were first on that scene. Break this down for us.
Yes, Margot, police confirmed to us they were here earlier today searching for a man wanted in connection to the murder of Nadia Perkins. This murder happened earlier this week on Julia Street. Now, police say this is the man they are searching for, Ahmaud Barney. Police say he is wearing all black with black slides, is about 6 feet tall, and he's 20 years old, and he has a small afro. Police say he may have left this area. If you see him, call 911 and tell them where he is. Another man was put into handcuffs earlier, and we are still not sure what his connection is to this manhunt. I spoke with Sergeant Chris Jackson from HPD moments ago, and this is what he had to say.
The drones will help you identify if we can find him. It is getting a little bit hot, so it's going to be hard to pick him up on FLIR, but we will continue to use him, and basically we're going to keep looking until we have evidence to suggest that he is no longer in this area or we have him in custody.
Do we know if he has any weapons on him? Should people in the area be worried or scared?
Because he has an active murder warrant for his arrest, he should be assumed to be armed and dangerous.
Several schools in this area were put on heightened security during this manhunt, and now police say they're using these drones and canines to help assist in that manhunt. Stay tuned online and on air here at 48 for more information. As we learn more, we will keep you updated. Reporting live in Huntsville, Callie Neese, 48 News, on your side.
Of course, Callie will stay on this story for the remainder of the day. Please tune back in to WAFF 48 News on air at 4, 5, 6, and 10 for the latest on this manhunt. Now to more breaking news. Crews are on the scene of a Morgan County house fire. This is where 2 firefighters were injured in the process. This is on Indigo Lane in Lacey Spring near Union Hill. Authorities say the firefighters were injured due to bricks falling from above. Fortunately, they are expected to be okay. Multiple area fire departments responded to a fire at a home that's now destroyed. Officials say there's also a possible gas leak and ammunition going off because of the flames. We do have crews on this scene, and we'll bring you updates as soon as we get them. Arab city leaders learned that they are now down more than $400,000 after a scam. Leaders say they were approached by someone pretending to work for a construction company. They confirm no personal data was compromised or obtained in this process, but the city did lose thousands of dollars as a result. The scam is now under investigation by police, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security. WAFF 48's Will Eldridge is working this story, and we'll have details for you at 4. Well, tomorrow is a first alert weather day, and Jada Russell will have more on what we can expect over the next 24 hours after this quick break.
Tomorrow is a 48 First Alert Weather Day, sponsored by Mr. Reuter Plumbing for all your emergency plumbing services.
We are already starting to see showers spread across the southeast. You can even see a good deal of those heavy downpours right around the Atlanta area. We'll see some of those build into our afternoon in the next hour or so. Some areas already getting the first wave of some isolated showers. Here's a look at our Doppler radar at the moment. You can see a couple areas just outside Albertville and Coleman. Even Athens saw a passing through of some early isolated showers. What we could expect to see, though, some afternoon isolated thunderstorms. Some areas may come across those due to some of the convection in the area. And then as we go into your Saturday, that's when we start to see our thunderstorms formulating into Saturday afternoon. So for the rest of this evening, temperatures will stay in the 80s, dropping down to the 70s right around 7 o'clock tonight. If you have any evening plans, don't expect a complete washout. A lot of these isolated showers will stay to the east of I-65. And they'll be isolated in nature. So about 10 to 20 minutes of heavy rain at times, not very long lasting. As we look to the overnight hours, we start to see a lot of these 60s in the forecast as well. And then as we go into Saturday, we've got a cold front coming alongside those rain chances. That's going to push our temperatures down into those low end 70s, and we'll struggle to sit at around 74 to 75. Couple areas may be just above that, but even still, with these widespread thunderstorms coming through in the evening hours, it'll be tough for us to come by that. We'll also see wind speeds of about 12 miles per hour, but gusts are what we are most concerned about, anywhere between 30 to 40 miles per hour. That usually is the severe criteria. That's what's causing these thunderstorms to be a little more on the strong end there. So keep that in mind. If you have any plans for Saturday afternoon, make sure you go ahead and make some plans accordingly, move them indoors, or just cancel them and move them to the next week. It'll be a touch cooler by that point, but even still much better than having some storms outside. So right about now, pretty quiet for 3 o'clock, but as we go into the later evening hours for Friday, we'll see those isolated showers and storms. But the biggest chance of storms for us hitting right around 12:30 for a lot of our westernmost communities right along the Mississippi and even Tennessee state line. So looking ahead into Saturday afternoon and evening, we'll see a widespread chance of these storms, and you'll notice the strongest and heaviest of downpours pushes south as we get to 5 and 6:30. Looks like Birmingham, it'll be around 69 or so degrees. So if you have any kind of traveling to do, this is going to be a statewide situation dealing with that marginal risk of thunderstorms. And Sunday afternoon is not a pretty picture either. You can see we have a heavy amount of downpour here. But what makes Sunday just your regular run-of-the-mill thunderstorm is that we're not dealing with those strong wind gusts. So we still have a great deal of rain and storms to pass through on Sunday. Looking ahead to the work week, we'll start the week in those mid-70s, but you'll notice we get into the 80s for a couple of days and then drop it to about 61 degrees on Thursday. Wednesday looks like it may be our next contender for a first alert weather day. We're still keeping an eye on that because it will drop our temperatures a great deal. Now 61 is typically close to our average for this time of year, but even looking ahead to next weekend, we get back into those 70s, so that dip is short-lived. Also, don't forget, daylight saving begins this weekend, so as you're pulling out your umbrellas, remember, those clocks go ahead an hour.
All right, that'll do it for today's 48 Fastcast. We'll be back online shortly with Before the 4, hosted by our own AJ Wiest. And then, of course, join us for today's top stories, all the breaking news coming out on this Friday on WAFF 48 News starting at 4 o'clock. We'll have you caught up at 5, 6, and 10 as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great Friday.